Who is next for Nassourdine Imavov? Here are 10 fights we need to see after watching UFC Paris, and it was a very good card, and I'm very proud of the matchups I've made. I reckon you're going to be very impressed. And maybe a little bit caught by surprise to some of the later ones, but obviously we'll start with a blatant one. And Imavov, there's a bit of discussion on who he should fight, but it's clear as day it should be Chimaev. What, do you want him to clear out the whole division before he even fights for the title? Some people are saying Dricus even. Like, God. But yeah, him versus Chimaev, that seems very right. He's earned it for sure. Izzy, Cannonier, Brendan Allen. Like, I don't have to tell you. Nassourdine deserves a title shot, and he deserves one, so give him it. Give him it like next year at the start of it or something, and I'll move on to the next one, the better ones, because Chimaev versus Nassourdine, that's obvious. But Caio Borralho lost in the main event. He's going to have to bounce back and rebuild. Now, you might be thinking, what? They already fought in grappling. This doesn't make sense. But if you realize how many times the UFC put together people who've already fought in grappling, it's actually insane. I think Eric Anders fought Kyle Dorcas in grappling. Joe Pyfer, GM3, they fought each other in MMA and grappling. Chase Hooper submitted Clay Guida and then fought him in the UFC. It's like weird how often they want to like run it back in the UFC under MMA rules after we've watched the other grapple them. So this isn't weird at all. It actually makes sense a lot. Brendan Allen versus Borralho, they've obviously said yes to each other before, so they're familiar. No bad blood. It would just be like a bounce back. And there's a lot of things you could do with Borralho. People are saying Whitaker or MVP could be something, but I'd rather MVP fight Whitaker and Allen fight Caio. But this was actually a little bit tough. If anyone's got any better matchups for Caio, let me know in the comments, because I didn't really... Like, nothing was sticking out. I was like, oh, I'll just do Brendan Allen. Like, that makes sense. I was looking at Whitaker. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. Do I want him to take down MVP? Not really. Let's get MVP a title shot, maybe. So, yeah, Caio versus Brendan Allen. Next one, Benoit St. Denis. I feel like this one makes a lot of sense as well. You could probably guess it. BSD versus Gamrot. And I swear French versus Polish was like the theme last night. There were so many Polish guys. Gomez, Ruchala. So... This just kind of makes sense to me, and I think they've had a bit of history where Gamrot got offered the short notice bout and Benoit didn't take it. And also, I was thinking like Dariush or something, but, you know, Gamrot's lost to Dariush, Moicano's lost to Dariush, Benoit's lost to Moicano. So this does seem right, and hopefully Benoit would actually beat Gamrot. I do think he matches up really well with Gamrot because he's got a good, strong grappling base. Like, imagine watching Gamrot ragdoll Benoit. That would be pretty crazy to see. But what would be kind of, I could see happening is him just schooling him on the feet, being faster, which is weird because Ruffy couldn't do it. But yeah, Ruffy really living up to his name of one shot. He only had an uppercut and that was it. But moving on to Ruffy himself. Now this one was super tough as well. I was going to give him Chandler, but then this morning when I woke up, I was like, oh, that doesn't really make sense. Like, he should go back and rebuild. If he just got a Chandler matchup, it looks so privileged. And then I was thinking about Terrence McKinney, Ruffy versus Terrence McKinney. How sick would that be? But then I was like, oh, could that really happen? And this one I feel like is a little bit boring now after I've just said Terrence McKinney and Chandler. But I feel like what would happen, Drakkar Klose versus Mauricio Ruffy. He's just fought a Brazilian in Edson. It's like a bounce back spot. Drakkar's going to shoot takedowns. You know what? Now that I'm looking at it, I don't like it. Especially because I just seen that Drakkar's 37. But Ruffy, McKinney, honestly, nothing stuck out to me like, yeah, oh, they should do that. Ruffy versus, like, Bahamondes, but is that too privileged for Ruffy? How far should he have to step back to rebuild? And how cool should the name be? Is it like a Drakkar, let's bounce back, or is it like McKinney Banger, or just Chandler? Because people are always saying Chandler has to fight people on the come up. Even though Ruffy's kind of been sent back. So I don't know. This one was weird to me. If you've got any better Ruffy matchups that like just stick out to you as soon as you hear it, Ruffy versus this guy, oh, wow. So McKinney is cool, but yeah, Drakkar Klose, Ruffy, like what makes sense to happen rather than what do I want to happen. I'd rather get these right than just make the coolest fight possible. That doesn't really make sense, like Chandler Ruffy or something. But moving on to Modestas Bukauskas, I feel like this one's a little bit obvious as well, just like natural progression. The next step in the line, I bet if I could give you a moment to guess, light heavyweight guy, next step up, you beat a Paul Craig. Who's the next fighter that you should maybe take on? An Alonzo Manifield, if you got that right. Yeah, that seems right. Next step in life for Modestas, and then he can be in the rankings and stuff. And I'm looking forward to Modestas. He's a cool guy and really has a real London accent. I don't know if that's a London accent, but a UK accent. I did not realize the dude was so UK-y. So yeah, bit of an eye-opener. Move on to a next one. Mason Jones. Now, this is the best fight on the whole list. By far, like blockhead Mason Jones with a granite chin. Who's him in a different font that you could get? Maybe you can guess this one as well. Blockhead. How good would Mason Jones versus Drew Dober be? Would that not be insane? Would that not feed generations? I swear that it's like a wider Drew, like a blonde Drew. They're like the same guy, or almost. All of a sudden, I was going to say, which wouldn't make sense. God, struggling here. But I'm going to go get a haircut after this. Just thought I'd throw that at you. It's the last video with the shit long hair that's just all over the shop. Going to cut it down a bit, make sure it looks clean. But Drew Dober versus Mason Jones is a banger. Is an absolute banger, and you know that too. You know that. Ante Delija got a big win. Now, if I was doing purely bangers, Pavlovich would be sick, right? How good would Ante Delija versus Pavlovich be? But then Aspinall's the champ. If he fought Pavlovich and beat him, where's there to go other than to fight Aspinall? And they're so good. They're such good friends, you know. He cried, and they just seem like really good pals. So I wouldn't want that to happen yet. So let's build him up a little bit. Curtis Blades is a good step. And Delija versus Curtis Blades, like, makes sense, you know. That just makes sense. That just makes sense. What do you want me to say? And then if he beats Blades, Delija versus Pavlovich, that would be so sick with just the fast, hard hands. I'd love that shit. So yeah, Pavlovich versus Delija in the future. But let's not rush Delija because I don't want him to fight Aspinall. They're really good friends. But I feel like they're savages and they would do it. But I also think maybe they said they wouldn't. I'm not too sure. But Bolaji Oki lost to Mason Jones. Looked good, though. Rocked Mason Jones and had him in trouble very fast. But you could just tell he was going way too hard. In the first round, it was like I was watching the fight. Like, yes, keep going, dude. Keep going. You are missing so big here. But Bolaji Oki, this is another great one as well. There's Daniel Zelkiba. Just a banger scrap on the feet. And then we can kind of pick which guy we're going to carry on and try and rebuild back in. They've both just taken a couple tough losses where it's like, these guys aren't really prospects anymore. But good scrappers to have on the roster. Oki Zelkuba would be a massive fight. Not a massive fight, but if you've seen that get posted, you'd be like, oh, banger. Oh, wow, it'd be good. It'd be really good. Another really good fight. And I reckon you might not be expecting this one because Rinat's put together quite the resume. Now, I don't want to say he really deserves shit because he did lose to Carlos Leal. So everyone's going to be saying, man, ranked opponent, he's on such a run. But let's not forget, he's not on a run. He lost the fight before this one, but I suppose he didn't. And I suppose he does deserve a little shot in the rankings. Here's someone that I bet you didn't expect, but kind of makes sense and would be cool. Gilbert Burns. Gilbert Burns versus Rinat Fakrehtdinov. Why not? Why not that? Gilbert needs to rebound. He's been looking a little bit shit, getting hurt by big shots. Rinat, although he just KO'd Andreas easily, which didn't make sense, he doesn't really KO people. He'd have to shoot takedowns on Gilbert or something, or strike with him. Gilbert could strike back with Rinat, hopefully fraud check him, even though it wouldn't be a fraud check, and we know Rinat's not top level, but I actually reckon Gilbert Burns versus Rinat Fakrehtdinov is a great fight that I'd love to see. If it got made, I'd be like, wow, that's sick. Didn't expect that, but yeah, you know what? Now that you say it, that is a great fight. I'm actually really proud of this one. Gilbert Burns versus Rinat Fakrehtdinov. Good bounce back spot for Gilbert. Rinat gets his shot in the rankings. Winnable for both. I'd love to see that one. You know what? Fuck the Mason Jones Dober banger. This is my most proud matchup. Isn't that good? Isn't that good? Rinat versus Gilbert. So yeah, Sean Shelby, I know you watch the vids. Because I seen you made Kyle Nelson versus Matt Frivola. Thank you for that, dude. I know me and you think so alike. So yeah, Gilbert versus Rinat. How good's that, man? And yeah, good to see you. I'd love it. I'd love a job at the UFC. I'd love a job. Yeah, I'd love a job. Well, at the UFC, of course. And last but not least, Sam Patterson beat. Who did he beat? Oh, Trey Waters. Trey Waters. He beat. And he wanted Neil Magny, who's fighting later this month or next month. Idiot. Idiot Sam. But just about Neil Magny, I reckon. Michael Jibesa, Nigerian Nightmare Michael Jibesa. I reckon Sam Patterson should fight Michael Chiesa. I reckon that would be a good fight for them to have. And yeah, that's the list. 10 fights, but you know, while you're with me, because there was actually a lot of key fighters, and now I might be fucking up trying to do this. But just a couple bonuses for the fighters that I missed. Andreas Gustafsson versus Nicholas Dalby, I think would be an amazing fight. Brad Tavares versus Not Too Sure. You know, he's done now, kind of, a little bit. But Robert Brycek versus like a Cesar Almeida would be cool. Or like a cool middleweight guy. I'm not too sure what would be nice for Robert Brycek. Like, who's beaten Brad Tavares recently? Like a Jun Young Park, but he's got a match up. But yeah, Robert Brycek, I'm keen for him. Or Robocop versus Brycek one day. That would be cool. That would be really cool. Trey Waters, nah. Carway Fernandez versus a lightweight. You could rebook the Ziam fight, or maybe him versus Chris Duncan, like two worlds collide type of thing. I'm not sure. But Umar Sy versus a light heavyweight. Who did Modestas just beat? Oh wait, he retired. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Shouldn't have actually even done the bonus thing. And William Gomez versus Morgan Charrier. No, sorry. Versus Shepe Mariscal, because Shepe's fought Morgan Charrier, French guy, French and stuff. And yeah, that's the vid. Couple bonuses at the end if you stayed. And yeah, I'm going to go get a haircut, because look at me. It's too fucked. A big helmet on my head, and off I go, guys. See ya.